full of hate. He butthurts, cries, and a dark shadow falls over this troll. From the ashes of a once great fandom has risen a meme, an LOL that must be liked. We look to the airwaves for a vindicator, someone to strike fear in the dark basement of the parents who created him. The battle between fan and smark has begun. With a head on his shoulders stands the smart fan, a speaker of truth, with a voice of silence, and a radio show of justice. This is Ring Rust.
This is Far More Mark Jabroni. You are listening to Ring Rust on 93.5 CHMR FM. You're going to have to excuse my voice. It's still a little hoarse from the con plague that I contracted from a local science fiction convention. Not specifically that it's the convention's fault. It's just that conventions are breeding grounds for people who... Because they happen once a year, so you gotta go. A lot of people say, I've gotta go. Regardless of how sick I feel, I gotta go. Or if I drink a lot of orange juice, I'll be fine. Or, you know, but that's... So, since I missed last week, that means this week, it's the NXT and WrestleMania review. So, TakeOver has 7 matches, and WrestleMania has 12 matches, so I'm certainly not going to be doing them one at a time. I'll do them 2 or 3 at a time, and then, you know, because there's 3 theme songs for NXT TakeOver, so that's what I'll do. I'll do a couple of matches for that and play one of the theme songs, a couple of matches theme song. I'll do that. So, we'll start with, I guess, the pre-show matches, which didn't air during the actual event, but will be airing, or have aired, or whatever, by now, on the coming weeks of NXT on the WWE Network. Manny Andrade defeated Christopher Gerard in a singles match, and apparently hasn't aired yet because there's no time available for it. And Apollo Crews defeated Elias Sampson in about 12 minutes. So, and now Apollo Crews apparently is on the main roster, so yay him. You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jabronology TV. So I guess I should tell you what I predicted for those first 2 matches. The one match, Manny Andrade versus Christopher Gerard, wasn't even announced, so of course I did predict that. I did predict that Apollo Crews would defeat Elias Sampson, because it's Apollo Crews. And obviously he was being fast-tracked to the main roster, so he was probably going to win. Anyway. So, the next 3 matches, American Alpha, Jason Jordan and Chad Gable defeated the Revival, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Looks like I did successfully predict all the matches, so I guess maybe I just know how NXT works, or what they want to do with it, I don't know. So that was a very entertaining match. For those who are watching WWE, Raw and SmackDown now, they have a tag team tournament to determine the number 1 contenders for the WWE Tag Team Championships. So that is a good thing, because tag teams are a big part of wrestling, and they've been a big part of wrestling, and this match certainly was a good indication of good tag team wrestling, actually. I really can't say if you've seen if you watch one match from this show, watch this match, because I can say that for literally any match here. So, and you'll get something out of it. The main event may be a bit annoying depending on your view on what was going on during the match, but Austin Aries defeated Baron Corbin. That one actually wasn't added, I guess, by the time I did the preview for it. I actually previewed it the week before. Not the week of, but I previewed the week before, because I wanted to use that Friday to fully preview WrestleMania. I didn't want to just be distracted and have my attention split, and like I'm going to be this today, but anyway. Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Sami Zayn in 20 minutes, so they gave that lots of time, and yeah, great match. again, you know, you can pick really any one of the matches that were actually on the event itself and say, if you see any match from this event, watch that match. They have 5 best matches of the card on a 5-match card. So you're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jabronology TV. This is Fan Mark Jabroni. You're listening to Ring Rust on 3.5 CHMR FM. So the last 2 matches from NXT TakeOver Dallas from not this past Friday, but the Friday before that, like April 1st. Asuka defeated Bayley for the by submission for the NXT Women's Championship in about 15 minutes. So a lot of these matches got some decent time. And Finn Balor defeated Samoa Joe to defend his NXT Championship in a match that was elements of it weren't well received by the people I was watching it with. Like every couple of minutes, because Samoa Joe got busted open at some point during the match. Accidentally, I'm guessing, just from the reaction to it. But the medical personnel fella kept coming over and checking him and stopping the match long enough to patch him back up and stuff. And, well, that's great and all, you know, for health and safety purposes, but I assume the guy never got reprimanded. I don't know. I mean, he was, of course, literally just doing his job. Pretty much everyone I was there watching him with said, "Man, just let the match go. Just let him bleed. He's gonna bleed. It's wrestling. There's bleeding in it." And it's like, well, it's wrestling in the 21st century and it's WWE sanctioned, so technically there isn't bleeding. It happens occasionally, yes, accidentally, and that was accidental, but, you know, they had to be seen doing something about it. They couldn't just let it go. Now, I guess they could have, if Triple H or William Regal or someone was standing by backstage, he could have come out and said, "Look, we're just going to let the match go. If he bleeds and gets it in his eye, the referee will ask him, can you continue? And then we'll do it that way." If they had someone like that right there, ready to go, I don't know whether or not I assume they were there. One of the two, if not both, were there. But that would have been probably a better idea. It's like, you know, I'm going to run out and I'm going to tell, like, I hear the fans booing the bejesus out of this. I'm going to run out and get on the mic, take 5-10 seconds out of the match, whatever, and say, due to the safety concerns of Samoa Joe bleeding, we're going to keep an eye on the situation, but we're no longer going to stop the match. The referee will ask him, "Can you continue the match?" You know, and Samoa Joe will say yes, or, you know, and then the medical personnel will not stop the match again. You know, apply whatever has to be applied to it to make theoretically anyway, make the bleeding stop and then let it go. So maybe in future, if it happens again, now mind you, it might not happen again in 100 years, but if it happens again, then that would probably be the preferable means to deal with it. But, you know, it happened. I wasn't really disappointed. I was more disappointed with the reactions than with the actual act itself. It's like, guys, he's bleeding. You know, it's WWE in the 21st century. They need to stop it. They need to keep an eye on it. It's, you know, there's all kinds of blood diseases. There's all kinds of, you know, safety concerns. You know, I'm sure the two guys in the match weren't concerned about it themselves personally, but you never know. You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jabronology TV. So now that I'm into the WrestleMania review, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 3 matches at a time, because there's 12 matches, and I still want to play a song for at least every 2 or 3 matches anyway, so I'll do 3 matches. And then just the one I was the most happy about the result for, or whatever, I'll read the last of the 3, and then I'll play a song for that. And look at that, there happens to be 3 pre-show matches. Kalisto defended the U.S. Championship against Ryback. I predicted that. Actually, upon reviewing how many I predicted, I didn't actually get a whole hell of a lot of these right. I don't think I even got half of them right. The next up, Team Total Divas, actually had the 5-on-5. And again, as per last time, I actually enjoy naming tag teams, so here they are. Team Total Divas, which was The Talent, Natalia and Paige. Not the talent, Alicia Fox and Brie Bella. And Eva Marie just tacked in there because it's a, it's an odd number. Versus Bad and Blonde. Blonde Slambition, which is Lana and Summer Rae. Thanks for the memories, Tamina Snook and Naomi, because I had really nothing else to say about them, I guess. And Emma. And I did predict that Team Total Divas was going to win it, so... And it was by submission. Not that that makes a lot of difference. It was 11 and a half minutes. It was pretty much the match it had to be, I guess. It was all it had to be, and perhaps a little bit more. But, the 10 divas, those 10 divas got a payday for WrestleMania, so don't complain. And the third pre-show match saw the Usos defeating the Dudley Boys in just a 5-minute tag match, so no big deal there. Like me on Facebook, tinyurl.com/ringrust. Follow me on Twitter @MarkJabroni, and subscribe to Jabronology TV, youtube.com/fanboymarkjabroni. Slapping hands, kissing babies, and kissing hands, and no, we're not going to go there. So back to the WrestleMania review from 2 Sundays ago now, because last week, of course, I was sick due to con plague from a local convention that happened, and I'm not going to... I've already mentioned it enough, I think, on social media. Anyway, I'm not blaming them for it. There was a bunch of people in an enclosed area, and someone was going to catch something. So, the next 3 matches I'm going to talk about is a 3-on-4 handicap match. The New Day, which is Big E Langston and Rudy Tooty Booty, which is Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, took on the League of Nations, which is Reunited Kingdom, King Barrett and Sheamus, and the 1994 FIFA World Cup, which is Alberto Del Rio and Alexander Rusev, Mexico and Bulgaria. My friend Blair got it, and I predicted the New Day would come out on top of that one, but apparently they didn't, so not really disappointed. It was a New Day match. It was going to be entertaining, and the other 4 guys are entertaining enough together and individually. Not so much individually, I guess, more together. Chris Jericho defeated AJ Styles, which I actually called it the other way around for that one as well. Not disappointed. I got 17 minutes of an otherwise great match. The only thing is I didn't accurately call it. That's not a big deal. Something else I didn't accurately call, because I predicted that Kevin Owens would manage to retain his title in the ladder match. Pitted him against Stardust, Dolph Ziggler, Sin Cara, The Miz, Sami Zayn, and the ultimate winner, Zack Ryder. Big fan of his. I've been a fan of his now for a while, and it was nice to see, even for 24 hours, him having the Intercontinental Championship, but oh well. You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jabronology TV. This is Fanboy Mark Jabroni. You are listening to Ring Rust. So, the next 3 matches I guess we'll take them in, well, because the next 3 matches listed are kind of dynamic in their own way, certainly. And the one I'm going to end up playing a song for is technically the least dynamic of the 3, so I'll just take them in, in whatever order. So the No Holds Barred match, which saw Brock Lesnar defeating Dean Ambrose. I did predict that one, so hooray. I predicted one successfully for the first time in a while. Not really complaining, I guess, but, so The Undertaker defeated Shane McMahon. Yeah, and if Shane had won, he would have gained control of Raw, and LOL, he had control of Raw anyway. So, and if The Undertaker had lost, he would have been banned from competing at WrestleMania again. So, I don't know. It did make that much more sense for Shane McMahon to win, but, I guess they didn't want Shane McMahon to beat The Undertaker, I guess. I don't know. So, whatever. It was a smacktastic match. just over 30 minutes, like 30 minutes and 5 seconds, so just we'll say 30 minutes. And the one I'm playing the song for is the triple threat for the WWE Women's Championship, which saw Charlotte defending her title against Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks by submission. I did predict that Sasha Banks would win the match, but oh well, not really complaining.
This is a great cat guitar slamming wrestling news radio on Ring Rust, CHMR 93.5 FM.
This is Fanboy Mark Jabroni. You are listening to Ring Rust on 3.5 CHMR FM. So I got 3 more matches. So the last 3 matches saw Baron Corbin to win the 20-man Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal in just under 10 minutes. 20 guys in 10 minutes. Like, it was a Battle Royal, so what do you want? And The Rock defeated Eric Rowan in a 6-second match because The Rock... yeah. And finally, Roman Reigns defeated Triple H to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Like me on Facebook, tinyurl.com/ringrust. Follow me on Twitter @MarkJabroni, and subscribe to Jabronology TV, youtube.com/fanboymarkjabroni. That's it for another show, kiddies. Check me out on Facebook, where you can keep track of all the news that's right on the mark, from around ringside to the latest concerts. See you at the shows. Later days.
This is 93.5 CHMR FM.